It's time for ROTD Weekend. Did you watch me and Marty do our live cooking demo on YouTube? If you didn't watch it live, you can watch the replay. And you know what? I think it went really well. I had a blast for sure. I know Marty had a good time. We cooked our way through 5 recipes for 5 small batch recipes, and they all come together into one meal plan that, you know what, I'll let you know where you can go get the meal plan if you want it. It's at cookthestory.com/sample, and that will take you to the meal plan, and you can see the recipes that we did and follow along. If you watch the replay, I will link to it in the show notes for you, or go to Cook the Story on YouTube and click on live, and you'll see it there. It's the only one we've done, so you will find it. Yeah, so it was actually really great. I had never cooked the recipes from one meal plan in a back-to-back way before like that. I've come up with meal plans. I've used them myself, shopped for them, and then used them each day. But doing them all back-to-back, it was really fun to see how they all came together and worked together, and how varied they really were in the end. So yeah, that was a really interesting experience. And I'll tell you, the best part was that I didn't have to cook dinner for a couple days after that, because we had all those 5 recipes just done in the fridge because we weren't eating them all as we went, because it was 5 days worth of food. And yeah, so we feasted for a couple of days. Really fun, really tasty, and we will be doing another Cook for 2 live cooking demo soon. I don't know if we'll do 5 recipes again. That seemed a little long. It ended up being 2.5 hours. And I don't think anybody who started at the beginning was still there at the end, still watching. Hopefully not because they were bored, but I think just because it was a long time commitment. So we might try to keep it to more 1.5 hours, maybe do 2 to 3 recipes at a time. I'm not sure. You know what? I would love to hear from you about this. You can email me at cookthestory@gmail.com, or go to our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/recipeotd. And I will put a little, post in there that you can comment on if you want to let me know how many recipes I should do in the live cooking demos. So that is what is really new for me. I guess the other thing that's really new, if you listen often, you probably can still tell. So I had a virus on my laptop. It is still sick. We haven't had a chance to fully fix it. I have a spare old laptop that I'm using, but it doesn't hook up to my recording system properly. So I'm using just a different way of recording and editing and everything. It's just a little bit upside down and backwards. So if you're noticing a difference in the sound, that is what it is. If you're not noticing a difference in the sound, well, then I guess that's good. And I don't need to talk about this anymore, right? Only if you're noticing does it matter. So today is Super Bowl Sunday, and I have tons of recipe ideas for you for Super Bowl. Absolutely. I will actually go through a bunch of them at the end of this podcast episode. I recently did a big slew of things on social media. If you're following me on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, I am Cook the Story in those places. Then you've probably seen all of them, because we did 10 days or 12 days of wings, and then we did 12 days of Super Bowl recipes that you will actually make. And I'm there explaining why these recipes are the best and why you should actually make them. So we did those, and I will tell you about them all towards the end of this episode. But if you are a big football fan and you are watching the game tomorrow, I hope you have a good time. I will say that I am not a big football fan, but I am a fan of excuses to eat yummy food. So we are having some people over, some of whom care about watching the game, some of whom just want to watch the commercials and the halftime show and talk and eat the rest of the time. I am going to be with that latter group, but it'll be fun for all of us anyhow. Okay, so I am going to tell you about our guest for today. It is a dear friend of mine who I'm looking forward to seeing in person again soon. It is the amazing recipe developer, cook and baker behind Vintage Kitchen Notes. I am talking to Paula Montenegro, and we're talking about what we love about old recipes, and she is sharing a classic that you have possibly never had before, and you're going to love it. Let us talk to Paula Montenegro. Hello, Paula. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Christine. It's so great to be here.
It is lovely to see your face. So Paula and I met at a conference almost a year ago and are going to get to see each other in person again soon. But this Zoom conversation is the one time in between. It's very exciting. Paula, you are a food blogger like I am, but yours started, we all have our own story. How did you start your blog, or why did you choose the very interesting niche that you have?
Well, my niche is vintage recipes, also old-fashioned, but they're different things. Vintage is very, not only old recipes, but they're very specific recipes. Like a blueberry muffin is old-fashioned because there are a lot of different recipes. But like there are pies, like a millionaire pie, that's a no-bake pie, that's very interesting. That's vintage because it's a specific pie. It's not just any no-bake pie with fruit and whipped cream. So that interests me. I have a million cookbooks, some very old, some that are not found anywhere nowadays. And I'm like old according to internet age. So like according to content creators. So it's like I'm vintage and I like vintage and I have vintage cookbooks. So I thought it all meshed together and decided I like the word vintage.
The word vintage is fantastic.
Like, I thought it has like this homey and cozy atmosphere, and that's the way I am. That's the way I bake. And I bake, I don't think I told you that. I'm a baker, and, I like to have my hands on the dough and flour and rolling pins, and think that's vintage and old fashioned. So that's why I choose my niche. And to this day, I started the blog almost 14 years ago, February 2012.
Wow.
So, and it's still what I would choose today. So, yeah.
No, I love that.
And because the name maybe not, but the niche is.
Yeah, no, you're right. The word vintage is really a great word because it not only means old, but it means kind of like cool, like retro cool. There's something, and also like special. I think like there's something special about something that's vintage, whereas there's something that's old may or may not be, but there's like that extra charm
exactly.
to it.
It has something. It has a story. It has it's vintage, and it still applies today for a reason. Mm-hmm. Because that's what I like about old recipes. Some are super relevant today. We eat the same things we ate like 50 years ago, 100 years ago sometimes.
Do you have examples of that?
Well, baking has so many examples of that, anywhere from muffins to pies to, we eat the same pumpkin pie we ate 50 years ago. Like my great-grandmother made a fruitcake that we eat every Christmas. And that was, it's like, I don't know, 150 years old. And we kind of change a bit because it's boiled, very old fashioned, but so we steam it. But all the classic desserts and treats for the holidays, for example, they're all vintage. And like the classic fudge, the classic pumpkin cake, and the classic gingerbread, we tweak it to meet, today's standards because sometimes for example, brownies were made with way less chocolate and more sugar, and they were cakier like 50 years ago than the ones we make now that are fudgier and they're different consistency, but they're still brownies and it's still the same idea. And that's where vintage is so cool because it's like retro cool, and some recipes work exactly the same as they worked so many decades ago. Yeah.
So I'm not really a baker, so maybe I feel like vintage baking recipes, I think of, yes, you're right, they're retro and cool and we still eat them. It's not as true with our dinner recipes, though, is it? Like, if I open a cookbook from like 1952, it's.
I think it has to do with the amount of grease. I say grease. I don't know if that's the way in English. Like, for example, maybe they use lard instead of butter, and you use less butter today than what they used before, and things like that. But for example, mac and cheese, it's a vintage recipe.
True
Chicken
enough.
pot pie, that's a vintage recipe.
Yes. But
all of those things. And the thing is that I think it's one of the most craveable things today also.
For sure.
When people search, I mean, when people want a muffin, they go to the very old ones, an oatmeal muffin, an oatmeal cookie, a strawberry pie. And you can grab your great grandmother's recipe and you don't have to do many tweaks. It's pretty solid. They're pretty solid recipes.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. I wonder if you come across, so I don't have a collection of older cookbooks like you do. I have one I have a few, but I have one that I love. It's a Canadian cookbook that was put out by a flour company that was popular in Canada. I think it's Five Roses, but a lot of the ingredients in there are very approximate. Like there's a butter tart recipe and it says something like a walnut of butter is what it says.
Exactly. I have the recipe I chose for today, Alfajores. It's a sandwich cookie that's very, very unique to Argentina. No, it's not unique to Argentina because many countries have it, but we eat them like there's no tomorrow. So I think it's good because it's baking, it's vintage, it's everything. Yes. My blog is. And we used to, the recipes used to call for, how do you call the cap from the bottle? Oh. Because it has some liquor. So it was 1 cup, but cup CAP.
1 cup.
Because that's the way you measured it. When we did sabaglione, do you know what that is?
Like a whipped dessert?
It's whipped marsala with egg yolks. You open the egg, you put and then half the egg, how'd you say it? Shell. Half the eggshell was the measure of liquor. So for every egg yolk, you had half a shell of liquor and half a shell of sugar. And that's the way you measured it. However many egg yolks you wanted, but that's the way you measured it.
It's really fantastic because it's the way that I cook when I'm not trying to create recipes for other people to replicate, right? Like, just like something simple like rice in my Instant Pot, for instance, it's like 1 cup of rice needs 1.5 cups of water. I just scoop the rice in and put about 1.5 times more water and I put the lid on and it's going. Like I don't get out measuring cups all the time for these things. I have like my ways of doing it that are not like that kind of precise. But then for developing recipes, I have to. I guess the publishing industry didn't care as much about those specifics. Is that what it was? They were capturing the moment of someone's real kitchen?
Yeah. And I also think that most people cooked and baked.
Yes.
There was no way to get made food, takeout like it is today. Even like I'm 57. When I was growing up, you didn't have the plethora of things you have today to buy ready-made or everything. So I think it was also kind of assumed that a lot of things were already known to people.
Yeah, you're so right.
Like today, I was thinking about when you said how you cook, that today we have to be very specific because, a spoonful. Now we have a measure, but 50 years ago, 70 years ago, my great-grandmother's scone recipe is like 7 spoonfuls. And then at some point, I realized that she was having like very full spoonfuls. And it was like a soup spoon that was super large for what we use today. So it was nothing like our spoonful. So my scones were never the same as hers because I was using a different amount of everything.
Well, I know now. I don't. My mom's probably listening, and so she's going to tell me I'm not correct. So I'm not sure where this memory is, but I am positive that when I was little and used to make things like brownies and cupcakes, that I used to follow the recipe that said teaspoons and tablespoons, but I used to just use the stirring coffee spoon was a teaspoon and the bigger soup spoon was the tablespoon. And that's what I did. And did I learn that from my mom or my grandmother, or did I just
probably
think it?
You probably saw that in the
Yeah.
kitchen
Yeah. I
because that's
just
the
did
way
it.
and it was very intuitive also.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, cooking is way more intuitive than baking. And you have an advantage there because for baking, you have to be very specific. You cannot add flour until it's a soft dough. People will say, what is a soft dough? I don't know
Right.
what is soft for you, might not be soft for me.
Yeah.
So we have to be, and I think that's an extra layer or steps that we add to our blogs and to
Mm-hmm.
our recipes
Mm-hmm.
because we have to test them and they have to be right and they have to have that,
Mm-hmm.
those details are very important, especially
No,
for
I
baking.
agree.
Baking is, I say that baking is a lot of details
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that are kind of sewn together
Mm-hmm.
to make a final product because it's all
Yeah.
in the details. The specific type of batter, like here and then you have to be very careful with the baking time and you have to let it cool in a certain way. And
Mm-hmm.
it's all in
Mm-hmm.
the details.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No. And I think I'm just remembering something. I think you're totally right when you say that the recipes have changed because our amount of knowledge about cooking and baking is less than it used to be. I remember scrolling on Facebook the other day and somebody had posted a picture of a vintage, like an old recipe it was something like chicken with milk gravy. It was something like that. And it explained how to cook the chicken. And then it said, make a gravy using the fat in the pan, flour, and milk. Serve gravy over chicken. And I just was laughing to myself that it was like these steps for making the chicken. And then it's like, and then of course just make a gravy. Because of course you know how to do that.
Everyone knew how to make a gravy. I mean, I
Yep.
remember when I was growing up in my house, like lunch started at 11 and the preparation started at 11 and we ate at like 1, 2
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in the afternoon, or it
Yeah.
started at 10 a.m. because everything was handmade and it took time. And so houses had, cooking in your house was the norm.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not now because we have other interests.
Mm-hmm.
Things have evolved and we do so many more things and we do, yeah, life is different.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely
so
different. Yeah.
we have to kind of adapt the recipes to that. And it's very important we do because I have so many comments of people saying it's my first cheesecake. And thank you for the detailed explanation because it's the first time I'm making a chicken and I go, oh my God, I'm happy that I'm so obsessed with details, for example, because that doesn't happen in all cookbooks. You don't have that.
No,
It's like
no.
mix and bake at 350.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
It was, people thought that you just understood.
yeah, no, it's really really interesting, and yes, things have changed. Now I'm thinking about all the ways that things have changed. I mean, even just people having freezers in their homes at some point. You know what I mean? Like I make a big batch of pierogies and I freeze a bunch of them, and they're in my freezer for quick meals. But there was a time where people didn't have freezers, the ice box. You have to go and get the ice delivered, like all of that. So obviously everything has changed, not just in ingredients and convenience of ingredients, but our ways of cooking, the air fryer, the instant pot, and the
Exactly.
and all of it. Wow. Well, this is fascinating, and I know you said that you have brought a vintage recipe to tell us about today.
Yeah, about alfajores.
Uh,
That's cornstarch alfajores.
can you spell that for me?
Alfajores. That's a plural. Plural. If you
Alfajores.
don't add the es at the end, it's alfajor. That's one alfajor or several
Oh.
alfajores.
And you said they're a cornstarch cookie?
This recipe is a cornstarch cookie, 2 cornstarch cookies sandwiched with dulce de leche. Have you ever tried dulce de leche? You have?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. I've tried
That's like
making it
this
too
caramel-
and failed, but
This caramel-like spread, because dulce de leche has milk, so it's very different than caramel, though they're in the family. They're kind of cousins, but they're not the same.
because caramel is usually butter. Caramel is usually just butter and
No,
sugar?
it's just sugar.
Just sugar.
It's just sugar. Toffees with butter and cream. But caramel is just sugar.
And then
it has iterations, like if you want it more fluid for a flan or to caramelize something, you can add a little water or you can add a little butter, but in essence, it's just dissolved sugar.
Wow. And then dulce de leche, is it made with the canned milk?
You can, because it's made with milk, sugar, and some baking soda. It's very amber. It's like a rich, light chocolate, color. And it had the bicarb, the baking soda. That's what makes it go dark.
Oh,
so it's milk and sugar, and that's the traditional filling. If you just say alfajores, it has dulce de leche. Otherwise, you had to explain the filling.
So you say chocolate alfajores.
Yeah, and condensed milk. We can talk about dulce de leche too instead of alfajores. Condensed milk, it's dulce de leche halfway. Because dulce de leche, you just put milk and sugar and let it cook and cook and cook until it's thick and amber, dark amber and great.
And the baking soda helps it brown?
Yeah, that's what gives it color.
Oh, okay. So I'll tell you, you're going to laugh at me. At some point, I think I was probably 16 years old. So a long time ago. I read or heard somewhere that if you took a can of sweetened condensed milk and boil it, you get dulce de leche. But I thought they meant without opening the can. Like I literally...
It is without opening the can.
Okay, because
you're totally right. The thing is that condensed milk is dulce de leche halfway. If you're making dulce de leche and you stop halfway, you have just thickened milk that has the water has evaporated with sugar. That's condensed milk.
And okay, but explain the boiling in the can part, because it didn't work for me and I thought that I'd misunderstood and I've never tried again.
Boil it enough, it just gets thicker and thicker and creamier and you get dulce de leche.
Inside the can?
Yeah. It has to be covered with water and you have to keep it covered in water all the time. Otherwise, the part that is not covered in water will not cook. You have to turn it and...
Wow.
But it's super easy.
Okay, I'm gonna find this on YouTube or something and try it. I thought all these years
also. Oh, yeah.
You have okay, I will link to your recipe and I will go there. But all these years, Paula, I thought that I misread something and I remember just standing in my kitchen with this can forever.
No, and I think it's having a comeback now again because people are discovering it. Well, social media amplified everything, so but you have it everywhere, and it's super interesting because when you have it's very different than caramel than any other spread. So you just have to boil the can. Don't open it when it's hot or it will get messy.
I have to try this again now, and I'm a much more experienced cook now too. But
no, you can buy online dulce de leche.
Just buy it.
So many dulce de leches from Argentina are sold online now. And the thing for alfajores or any filling, it's that when you use it as a filling, you have to use what's called pastry dulce de leche. That's not the regular kind because the regular kind is too fluid. And the pastry, it's kind of thickened with, I don't know what it is. And so it holds. You can pipe it and you can put, and you can, bite into an alfajor and it doesn't drip everywhere. And
that makes sense.
So that's why, for example, caramel doesn't work for an alfajor as a filling. You have to add it to something like maybe a caramel buttercream or something else because you need something that holds, especially when you bite it.
Oh yeah. You don't want it just all squishing out the sides. That's no fun.
No.
Okay.
And
okay, I want to know. So to make the alfajores, am I saying that right?
Perfect.
Oh,
perfect.
You know this already, Paula. My daughter is obsessed with Spanish. She's a wonderful Spanish speaker, and she teases me all the time because I say everything wrong to the point where nowadays I on purpose say things wrong just to get her. I was calling chicken, the Spanish word for chicken. I was saying polo the other day, and she was just mortified, embarrassed, hiding her face because I'm purposely doing that to her.
Okay. Phonetics. Yeah.
Alfajores. You buy the pastry dulce de leche to make these. You're not making your own. filling.
No, we never. It's like making your own peanut butter. You don't do it. You
Don't
just
do it.
buy it. There are a million brands and textures and flavors and whatever. So
Okay,
no,
so you
we
would do
don't.
that. So then tell me how you make the cookies, because that part you are making.
Well, the cookies are cornstarch cookies. They have more cornstarch than flour, and they're very melt in your mouth,
Oh.
and they're crumbly at the same time. And they have what I call the magic flavoring because they have a bit of vanilla, a bit of lemon zest, and a bit of brandy or cognac, even a whiskey will do. And the three together, none of them stands out. So it's like the synergy of the three, and they give the alfajores a very distinct flavor and very unique because it's not lemon, it's not vanilla, it's not liquor, it's different. So that's one of the main things. And also the cookie has to be soft. You don't want crisp cookies. You don't want to overbake them. They're very pale, and when you sandwich them with the dulce de leche, ideally you wait several hours or maybe until the next day, because the dulce de leche moistens and softens it. And an alfajor is a soft sandwich cookie.
I like soft.
And then
cookies.
the sides are rolled in coconut.
Oh.
So that's another flavor. It's also a way to not make it very messy to eat because dulce de leche is very sticky. And when you roll it in coconut, it kind of seals it and it's easier to eat. But then if you make alfajores without the coconut or with, they have different flavors because coconut adds a lot on its own. Mm-hmm. So you can also roll them in like ground nuts or any other thing.
And
they're rolled, yeah.
And does the cookie have butter, egg, that kind of?
It has, it has butter, egg, flour, sugar, all the usual suspects, yeah.
And the cornstarch.
And the dough is very, very soft, but very nice to work with. So it's good for even beginner bakers because it's not sticky, it's not complicated. You have to let it rest in the refrigerator so it's easier to roll, like most doughs. But it's very like soft and supple, it doesn't stick. It's very nice. And you can make the cookies ahead. You can make the cookies, put them in a container for several days, and then put together the alfajores when you're going to serve them or several hours before. And so it's not like a cookie you have to make the moment you want to eat it. It's a great gift because it adds a very different cookie to your cookie tray or to your Christmas desserts.
They sound amazing, and I, my daughter, the same daughter, loves Spanish language. She also does like baking and doing kind of different things. I'm going to give this one to her as a possible baking project. Well, I mean, I'll help, of course, but I think she's going to love it. Wait, I wanted to know one more thing. You said so it's a rolled dough. You're rolling and then using like a cookie cutter?
It's a rolled dough.
Cookie cutter.
First, you cut the cookies round. We have different sizes. I like them very small because they're easier to eat. And the cookies shouldn't be too thick, because otherwise it will be too much cornstarch, too like pasty, and we don't want. So it's not very thick, and dulce de leche, that's where you can add as much as you want. My life is dulce de leche on everything, and the more the better. But well, I'm from Argentina, where dulce de leche is like our second name. It's in our DNA. Also, alfajores. We're the largest consuming country of alfajores because not only cornstarch, we have ones like that are covered in chocolate, and we have so many.
I love that.
And so I add a lot of dulce de leche, but you can that's up to you.
So yeah,
I always tell people that are making it for the first time that you should add some, taste one cookie, and then decide how much dulce de leche you want.
Oh, it's so true because the cookies are made already. You're just adding the filling, so you can actually
that you have to fill one by one. So
yeah, that makes so much sense. Well, Paula, this has been so much fun. I loved getting to talk with you today. Can you let people know where they can find you if they want? Well, this recipe, I will absolutely link to this and to your dulce de leche recipe. But if they want to see you online, go see your recipes, where's the best place to go?
My blog is vintagekitchennotes.com. And then I'm Vintage Kitchen Notes on Instagram, Pinterest, and no, that's it, because I don't do TikTok or anything else. So
that's really smart.
So Instagram and Pinterest. Yeah.
Instagram and Pinterest. Wonderful. Everybody go and find Paula. You are going to love her recipes. Thank you so much, Paula.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been great.
Alfajores, dulce de leche. I need to try all of these things, and I need to try making the dulce de leche again. I am positive that I am not saying that correctly, but I'm going to give it another try because it did not go well when I was younger, and I now know why. So that is great. Thank you so much, Paula. It was lovely talking with you, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Okay, so I promised that I would tell you about some great Super Bowl recipes to make if you have Super Bowl on the brain. So yes, on social media, I did 12 days of chicken wings, and you should check that out. But I will link to all of these in the show notes for you. I know that at crunch time, it's the day before game day. Sometimes you just want somebody to give you what you need. So the recipes for the wings are how to cut whole wings at home, how to bake frozen wings, how to air fry frozen chicken wings. Those are really good in a pinch. If there's just a couple of you can just toss them in the air fryer. They turn out great straight from frozen. And these aren't like chicken wings that you need to like buy and they're already prepped and sauced and seasoned. And then you're putting them into the oven or the air fryer. This is just like plain chicken wings that you can cook this way. So that's really, really handy. Then there's the crispy baked chicken wings that use the baking powder to get really, really crispy skin. And then there's a dry rub chicken wing recipe that uses that same basic crispy wing technique, but with seasonings in it. And then there are lemon pepper wings, barbecue wings, a delicious chicken wing marinade, a brine that uses baking powder, so you get seasoning right into the chicken wings and the crispy skin. There is a deep fried chicken wings recipe. If you want to do some deep fried wings, that is always an option. Very classic sports bar style. Then there are the dill pickle brine chicken wings and some easy boneless breaded wings. Super nice if you don't want to have all those finicky bones in there. So those are my wing recommendations. And then for my list of 12 Super Bowl recipes that you will actually make, the first one is the nacho dip that I posted that went crazy viral. It's had over 1 million views on Facebook. That is crazy. So nacho dip is great. It's like all the flavors of nachos, but in a dip, and you can keep it warm or microwave it. So it's not like normal nachos that you take out of the oven and they're instantly not good because the cheese starts like not being melty because the cheese stops being melted like right away. Nacho dip for the win. Then there's a really easy guacamole recipe. There is what I call a fish taco coleslaw, but it's actually good on any kind of tacos or any kind of sliders. It has a whole bunch of different ingredients in it, so it's really all you need other than the protein. If you're doing pulled pork sliders or pulled chicken tacos, you just have your pulled meat and then this coleslaw and then your bread, and that's all. People make their own really good. The taco dip is a classic that, it's the only thing I need. If you put that beside me at any kind of Super Bowl party or anything, potluck, at a wedding shower, I just sit beside it and eat it all day. I love it so much. I'm definitely making that one tomorrow. Then there's my pulled chicken sandwiches. Oh, and that dip that I'm obsessed with, the broccoli cheddar pickle dip. Love that one. Mac and cheese cups, especially good if you have youngsters coming. They love to just pick these up and nibble on them. There is some turkey chili if you want like a big pot of something hearty that people can come and have. Big bowl of kind of like more an entree style Super Bowl snack. Also entree style is country style ribs, which are so great because they're not that expensive. So they make for a great Super Bowl entree. And then on here, I have a cocktail sauce recipe just in case you forget to buy it at the grocery store, then you will actually make that. And we finish off with air fryer shishito peppers, a nice little veggie, something lighter. Okay, so that is my set of recommendations for your Super Bowl menu. I for sure am making the taco dip, like I said, maybe the broccoli cheddar pickle dip. And then I think I'm going to do the pulled chicken with the coleslaw and do it on sliders. I am almost positive that that's the direction that I'm heading in. Okay, so that is my set of Super Bowl recommendations. I'm also going to tell you what is recently new on my site in the last week. I guess I mean sites from both of the websites. What have we got that has gone new? Okay, so what have we got that's gone new? It is on Cook the Story, the ground beef and zucchini skillet. Oh, it's so flavorful. When there is leftovers of this in my fridge, I cannot stop eating it. I love it so much. I think it's the red wine vinegar and oregano in there. And I really like zucchini and nobody in my family likes it. So it's kind of a treat when it's there. But yeah, I love that one. And then the easiest baked mac and cheese is also new on the Cookful this week. That would also be a really good Super Bowl snack, wouldn't it? So yeah, those are the new recipes. And then I will tell you what I am working on this week. I feel like I've been working on it forever. I am trying to perfect a meatloaf recipe, and I really want this one to be in the loaf pan because that's just classic for so many people, and it's not how I usually make it. So I wanted to try and perfect that. I have definitely perfected getting it out of the loaf pan. I make this like parchment paper sling that I've gotten, but the recipes so far that I've been trying, or the versions I've been trying, have been almost too moist. They hold together, but just barely. So I'm working on keeping them that juicy, moist flavor, but just a little bit more holding together. So I want to do that. Probably going to take another 2 rounds of testing that one. And then I'm also working on a classic beef stew recipe. This was a request from Marty. He really likes stew and loves when the beef is like super, super tender. So I've been working on just like the most basic classic, and I've been testing doing it both in the oven and on the stove to see if there's a difference. Like, is one better than the other? So far, I don't think so, but then also to get the timing down for both of those. So those are the things that I am working on this week. Okay. I hope you have a gloriously fun game day tomorrow and some fun cooking and prepping for it, if that is what you're doing. Otherwise, I hope you're just having a lovely, relaxing weekend. I'd love one of those soon. You know, we did that cooking live demo last weekend, and now this weekend is actually quite busy with the Super Bowl. We also are going to an escape room, and we also have a party that we're going to, and my daughter has a friend coming over. So there is a lot going on in my house this weekend. I look forward to a nice, relaxing, plan-free weekend somewhere in the future. It's possible, right? It'll happen. I hope you're having one. If I'm not having one, I hope that at least you are, and you should just like revel in it and enjoy every moment. Enjoy it for me. I can do it vicariously, right? I'm just like imagining it for you right now, and I'm already feeling a little more relaxed. That's quite nice, actually. Okay. I will put all the links to all the recipes that I talked about in the show notes for this podcast episode. And you can also find them if you go to cookthestory.com/ROTD. Everything there is arranged by dates. You are looking for the episode from February 7th of 2026. I want to say thank you for listening, and thank you to Paula Montenegro from Vintage Kitchen Notes for being such an amazing guest and an amazing friend. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, cookfor2.us, and this podcast recipe of the day. I hope you have a great weekend. Let's get cooking.